Welcome to Loops and Loops, your trusted source for all things cybersecurity. In today's digital age, safeguarding our online presence is more crucial than ever. Join us as we embark on a journey through the complex and ever-evolving world of cybersecurity, exploring strategies, techniques, and technologies to protect against cyber threats. Whether you're a cybersecurity professional, a business owner seeking to fortify your digital defenses, or simply concerned about online safety, you're in for an enlightening experience. So tighten your loops, sharpen your digital acumen, and let's dive into the captivating realm of cybersecurity together. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting computer systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, theft, damage, or other cyber threats. It's essential because as more of our lives move online, including sensitive personal and financial information, businesses, governments, and individuals are increasingly at risk of cyber attacks. The main objectives of cybersecurity are to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Confidentiality ensures that sensitive information is only accessible to authorized individuals. Integrity ensures that data remains accurate and unaltered, and availability ensures that information is accessible when needed. Common types of cybersecurity threats include malware, phishing attacks, ransomware, denial of service attacks, and insider threats. These threats can target individuals, organizations, or even entire countries, aiming to steal data, disrupt operations, or extort money. Cybersecurity threats differ from traditional security threats in that they primarily target digital assets, such as computers, networks, and data, rather than physical assets. Traditional security threats, such as theft or vandalism, typically involve physical access to premises or property. Encryption plays a crucial role in cybersecurity by encoding data to make it unreadable to unauthorized users. It ensures that even if data is intercepted, it cannot be understood without the appropriate decryption key, thus protecting sensitive information from unauthorized access. Cybersecurity professionals identify and assess risks by conducting risk assessments, vulnerability assessments, and penetration testing. These processes involve identifying potential vulnerabilities, evaluating the likelihood and impact of threats, and determining appropriate mitigation measures. A firewall is a network security device or software that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. It acts as a barrier between a trusted internal network and untrusted external networks, such as the internet, to prevent unauthorized access and cyber attacks. Common cybersecurity best practices for individuals include using strong, unique passwords, keeping software up to date, being cautious of suspicious emails and attachments, and regularly backing up important data. For organizations, best practices include implementing comprehensive security policies, conducting employee training, and regularly monitoring and updating security measures. Multi-factor authentication enhances cybersecurity by requiring users to provide multiple forms of verification, such as a password and a temporary code sent to their phone before gaining access to a system or account. This adds an extra layer of security beyond just a password, making it more difficult for unauthorized users to access accounts. Penetration testing involves simulating cyber attacks to identify vulnerabilities in a system or network. Vulnerability scanning, on the other hand, involves scanning a system or network for known vulnerabilities without actively exploiting them. Penetration testing is more invasive and provides a deeper understanding of potential security weaknesses. Cybersecurity professionals respond to security incidents by following established incident response procedures, which typically involve containing the incident, mitigating its impact, investigating the cause, and restoring normal operations. This may also include notifying affected parties and implementing measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. Incident response planning is crucial in cybersecurity because it ensures that organizations are prepared to respond effectively to security incidents when they occur. By having a well-defined plan in place, organisations can minimise the impact of incidents, protect sensitive information, and maintain the trust of customers and stakeholders. Malware is malicious software designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorised access to computer systems or data. It poses a significant threat to cybersecurity as it can be used to steal sensitive information, compromise system integrity, or disrupt operations. Common types of malware include viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, spyware, and adware. These malware variants have different characteristics and attack vectors, but they all pose serious threats to cybersecurity by exploiting vulnerabilities in systems or tricking users into executing malicious code. Cybersecurity professionals prevent and mitigate the effects of malware attacks by implementing robust security measures, such as antivirus software, firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and user education programs. These measures help detect and remove malware infections, as well as prevent them from occurring in the first place. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts files or locks users out of their systems and demands payment, usually in cryptocurrency for the decryption key or to restore access. It poses a significant threat to organisations and individuals alike, as it can result in data loss, financial loss, and reputational damage. Organisations can protect themselves against ransomware attacks by implementing robust cybersecurity measures, such as regular data backups, network segmentation, and up-to-date antivirus software. Additionally, organisations should provide cybersecurity awareness training to employees, emphasising the importance of avoiding suspicious links and email attachments. Phishing is a type of cyber attack where attackers attempt to deceive individuals into revealing sensitive information, such as passwords or financial details, through fraudulent emails or websites. Individuals can recognise phishing attempts by carefully reviewing email addresses, checking for spelling and grammar errors, and verifying the legitimacy of requests for sensitive information. Common indicators of a phishing email include generic greetings, urgent or threatening language, requests for personal or financial information, and suspicious attachments or links. Individuals should exercise caution when encountering these signs and report suspicious emails to their organisation's department. Organisations can educate their employees about cybersecurity best practices, including phishing awareness through training programs and simulated phishing exercises, by teaching employees how to recognise and respond to phishing attempts. Organisations can reduce the likelihood of successful attacks. Social engineering is a method used by attackers to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. Cybersecurity professionals defend against social engineering attacks by raising awareness among employees, implementing security policies and procedures, and using technical controls such as multi-factor authentication. A distributed denial of service attack is a cyber attack where multiple compromised systems, often controlled by a botnet, flood a targeted system or network with excessive traffic, causing it to become unavailable to legitimate users. To mitigate the effects of distributed denial of service attacks, organisations can use distributed denial of service mitigation services, deploy network intrusion detection systems, and implement rate limiting and traffic filtering techniques. Cybersecurity professionals protect sensitive data from unauthorised access by implementing access controls, such as user authentication, authorisation, and auditing. Access controls ensure that only authorised users have access to specific resources and that their actions are logged and monitored. Authentication methods used in cybersecurity include passwords, biometric authentication, smart cards, and security tokens. These methods verify the identity of users and help prevent unauthorised access to sensitive data or systems. The principle of least privilege is a cybersecurity principle that states that individuals should only be granted the minimum level of access necessary to perform their job functions. By limiting user privileges, Organizations reduce the risk of unauthorized access and minimize the potential impact of security breaches. Cybersecurity professionals monitor and analyze network traffic for suspicious activity using tools such as intrusion detection systems and security information and event management systems. These tools detect anomalous behavior and alert security teams to potential security incidents. Symmetric encryption uses the same key for both encryption and decryption, while asymmetric encryption uses different keys for encryption and decryption. Symmetric encryption is faster and more efficient for encrypting large amounts of data, while asymmetric encryption provides better security for exchanging keys securely over untrusted networks. Cybersecurity professionals secure data in transit by encrypting it using secure protocols such as transport layer security or secure shell. These protocols encrypt data as it travels between devices, preventing unauthorized access or tampering. A virtual private network is a technology that creates a secure, encrypted connection over a public network, such as the internet. VPNs help protect data privacy and confidentiality by encrypting traffic between devices and remote servers, making it difficult for attackers to intercept or eavesdrop on communications. Common security measures for protecting wireless networks include using strong encryption, disabling unused network services, changing default passwords, and regularly updating firmware and security patches. Cybersecurity professionals secure Internet of Things devices by implementing strong authentication mechanisms, encrypting communication channels, and regularly updating device firmware to patch security vulnerabilities. Additionally, network segmentation and access controls can limit the impact of compromised Internet of Things devices on the overall network. Potential risks associated with Internet of Things devices in terms of cybersecurity include unauthorized access to sensitive data, device tampering or hijacking, and disruption of critical services or infrastructure. As Internet of Things devices become increasingly interconnected, the potential impact of security breaches grows, making robust cybersecurity measures essential. Endpoint security refers to the protection of individual devices, such as computers, smartphones, and tablets, from cyber threats. It is important in cybersecurity because endpoints are often targeted by attackers seeking to gain access to sensitive data or compromise network security. Endpoint security solutions include antivirus software, firewalls, and intrusion detection systems. Cybersecurity professionals secure mobile devices against cyber threats by implementing various security measures. These may include using encryption to protect data, enforcing strong authentication methods such as biometrics or two-factor authentication, and installing security software like antivirus and mobile device management solutions. Additionally, they educate users about safe mobile practices, such as avoiding unsecured Wi-Fi networks and being cautious when downloading apps or clicking on links. Regular software patching and updates are crucial in cybersecurity because they help to fix vulnerabilities and weaknesses in software and operating systems. By keeping software up to date, cybersecurity professionals can prevent attackers from exploiting known security flaws to gain unauthorized access or launch attacks on systems. Zero-day vulnerabilities are security flaws in software or hardware that are not yet known to the vendor or cybersecurity community. Cybersecurity professionals address zero-day vulnerabilities by closely monitoring security forums and advisories, deploying intrusion detection systems to detect suspicious behavior, and implementing proactive security measures such as network segmentation and access controls. Cybersecurity professionals ensure compliance with regulations and standards by conducting regular audits, implementing security policies and procedures that align with industry best practices, and staying informed about changes in regulatory requirements. They may also use compliance management tools to track compliance efforts and demonstrate adherence to regulations. Common cybersecurity certifications for professionals include Certified Information System Security Professional, Certified Ethical Hacker, Certified Information Security Manager, and CompTIA Security Plus. These certifications validate the knowledge and skills of cybersecurity professionals and help employers assess their expertise. Cybersecurity professionals conduct risk assessments for organizations by identifying potential threats and vulnerabilities, assessing the likelihood and impact of security incidents, and prioritizing risks based on their severity. They may use risk assessment frameworks such as NIST Cybersecurity Framework or ISO IEC 27005 to guide their assessments. Risk management involves identifying, assessing, and prioritizing risks, while risk mitigation involves taking actions to reduce or eliminate identified risks. In cybersecurity, risk management focuses on understanding and managing the risks associated with potential security incidents, while risk mitigation involves implementing controls and measures to reduce the likelihood and impact of security breaches. Cybersecurity insurance, also known as cyber insurance or cyber liability insurance, helps organizations mitigate the financial losses associated with cyber attacks and data breaches. It typically covers costs such as legal fees, regulatory fines, and expenses related to breach notification and remediation. Cybersecurity professionals stay updated on the latest security threats and trends by attending industry conferences and seminars, participating in online forums and communities, reading security blogs and publications, and completing continuous education and training programs. They may also receive alerts and advisories from security vendors and organizations such as CERT and US CERT. Collaboration and information sharing are essential in cybersecurity because they enable organizations to leverage collective knowledge and resources to address common threats and challenges. By sharing information about security incidents, vulnerabilities, and best practices, cybersecurity professionals can learn from each other and improve their overall security posture. Cybersecurity professionals balance security and usability by implementing security measures that provide adequate protection without overly burdening users or impeding productivity. They strive to find a balance between security requirements and user convenience, considering factors such as user experience, business needs, and regulatory requirements. Ethical considerations in cybersecurity practices include respecting user privacy and confidentiality, acting with integrity and honesty, and adhering to legal and regulatory requirements. Cybersecurity professionals must also consider the potential impact of their actions on individuals and organizations and ensure that they are acting ethically and responsibly. Cybersecurity professionals prepare for emerging technologies and future challenges by staying informed about technological advancements and trends, conducting research and development to explore new security solutions, and participating in industry collaborations and initiatives focused on addressing emerging threats. They also continuously assess and adapt their strategies and practices to address evolving cybersecurity risks and challenges. Cryptography plays a critical role in cybersecurity by providing techniques for securing sensitive information and communications. It involves encoding data in such a way that only authorized parties can access and understand it, while preventing unauthorized access or tampering. Cryptography is used to encrypt data at rest and in transit, authenticate users and systems, and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of digital information. Cybersecurity professionals assess the security of third-party vendors and partners by conducting thorough risk assessments, evaluating their security practices and protocols, and verifying compliance with security standards and regulations. They may also perform security audits, request security documentation and certifications, and monitor vendor performance to ensure ongoing adherence to security requirements. A vulnerability refers to a weakness or flaw in a system or application that could be exploited by an attacker to compromise security. while an exploit is a piece of software or code that takes advantage of a vulnerability to gain unauthorized access or execute malicious actions. Vulnerabilities are identified through security assessments and testing, while exploits are used by attackers to carry out cyber attacks. Cybersecurity professionals prevent and detect insider threats by implementing access controls and monitoring systems to track user activities and detect suspicious behaviour. They also conduct regular security awareness training to educate employees about the risks of insider threats and encourage reporting of suspicious activities. Additionally, they implement data loss prevention measures to prevent unauthorized access to sensitive information. Common techniques used for digital forensics in cybersecurity investigations include collecting and analysing digital evidence such as log files, system images, and network traffic data. Cybersecurity professionals use forensic tools and methodologies to reconstruct events, identify the root cause of security incidents, and gather evidence for legal proceedings. They also document their findings and maintain chain of custody to ensure the admissibility of digital evidence in court. Cybersecurity professionals ensure the integrity and authenticity of digital evidence by following established forensic procedures and using cryptographic techniques such as digital signatures and hash functions to protect the integrity of data. They also maintain strict controls over access to evidence and document the chain of custody to ensure that evidence remains unaltered and admissible in legal proceedings. Security policies and procedures play a crucial role in cybersecurity governance by establishing guidelines and standards for ensuring the security of organisational assets and information. These policies define security roles and responsibilities, outline security controls and measures, and provide guidance on responding to security incidents and breaches. They also help to ensure compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards. Cybersecurity professionals conduct security awareness training for employees to educate them about cybersecurity risks, threats, and best practices. This training helps employees recognise and report security incidents, avoid common security pitfalls, and adhere to security policies and procedures. It also promotes a culture of security awareness and responsibility throughout the organisation. Securing cloud-based environments presents several challenges for cybersecurity professionals, including ensuring data privacy and compliance, protecting against unauthorized access and data breaches, and managing security risks associated with shared infrastructure and resources. They address these challenges by implementing robust access controls, encrypting data, monitoring for security threats, and conducting regular security assessments and audits. Cybersecurity professionals protect against data breaches and leakage by implementing data encryption, access controls, and monitoring systems to prevent unauthorized access to sensitive information. They also conduct regular security assessments and audits to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses in systems and applications, and take proactive measures to address security risks and threats. Threat intelligence plays a crucial role in cybersecurity defense strategies. By providing timely and relevant information about emerging threats, vulnerabilities, and attack techniques, cybersecurity professionals use threat intelligence to assess the likelihood and impact of security threats, prioritize security measures and resources, and develop effective defense strategies and incident response plans. Cybersecurity professionals manage and secure passwords effectively by implementing password policies and controls, such as requiring strong passwords, enforcing password rotation, and implementing multi-factor authentication. They also use password management tools and technologies to securely store and manage passwords and educate users about the importance of password security and hygiene. A vulnerability assessment is a systematic evaluation of systems and applications to identify and prioritize security vulnerabilities, while a penetration test is a controlled simulation of a cyber attack to assess the security of systems and networks by attempting to exploit identified vulnerabilities. Vulnerability assessments are typically automated and focused on identifying vulnerabilities, while penetration tests involve manual testing and attempt to exploit vulnerabilities to assess their impact on security. Cybersecurity professionals ensure the security of Internet of Things devices by implementing security controls and measures such as device authentication, encryption, and access controls. They also conduct security assessments and audits to identify vulnerabilities in Internet of Things devices and networks, and collaborate with manufacturers and vendors to address security issues and improve the security of Internet of Things ecosystems. The impact of artificial intelligence and machine learning on cybersecurity is significant, as these technologies enable cybersecurity professionals to automate threat detection and response, analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns and anomalies, and enhance security monitoring and incident response capabilities. Artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms can detect and mitigate security threats in real time, predict emerging threats, and adapt to evolving cybersecurity risks and challenges. Cybersecurity professionals secure critical infrastructure from cyber attacks by implementing robust security measures and protocols to safeguard essential systems and networks. They conduct risk assessments to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses in critical infrastructure and implement controls such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and access controls to protect against cyber threats. They also monitor for suspicious activity, conduct regular security audits, and develop incident response plans to respond effectively to cyber attacks and mitigate their impact on critical infrastructure. Common cybersecurity risks associated with mobile devices include malware infections, data breaches, and unauthorized access to sensitive information. Cybersecurity professionals prevent these risks by implementing mobile device management solutions to enforce security policies, encrypting data stored on mobile devices, and using secure authentication methods such as biometrics and multi-factor authentication. They also educate users about mobile security best practices and provide training on how to recognize and avoid mobile threats such as phishing attacks and malicious apps. Cybersecurity professionals prevent and detect data exfiltration by implementing data loss prevention solutions to monitor and control the flow of sensitive data within and outside of the organization. They use network monitoring tools to detect suspicious activity and unauthorized attempts to access or transmit sensitive data, and employ encryption and access controls to protect data from unauthorized access. They also conduct regular security assessments and audits to identify and address vulnerabilities that could be exploited for data exfiltration. Secure coding practices are essential in software development for cybersecurity because they help prevent common vulnerabilities and weaknesses that can be exploited by attackers to compromise software systems. Cybersecurity professionals follow secure coding guidelines and best practices to write secure and resilient code, such as input validation, output encoding, and proper error handling. They also use secure coding frameworks and tools to identify and remediate security vulnerabilities during the development process, and conduct code reviews and security testing to ensure the security of software applications. Cybersecurity professionals conduct security audits and assessments to evaluate the effectiveness of security controls and measures, identify security vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and assess compliance with security policies and regulations. They use a variety of tools and techniques such as vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, and security audits to assess the security posture of systems and networks. They also provide recommendations and remediation plans to address identified security issues and improve overall security posture. Security incident response teams play a crucial role in cybersecurity management by providing rapid and coordinated responses to security incidents and breaches. They are responsible for detecting and analyzing security incidents, coordinating response efforts, and mitigating the impact of security breaches on organizational assets and operations. They also liaise with law enforcement agencies and regulatory authorities and provide guidance and support to internal stakeholders during security incidents. Cybersecurity professionals protect against supply chain attacks by implementing security controls and measures to secure the supply chain ecosystem, including vendor risk assessments, supplier due diligence, and contractual agreements. They also monitor for suspicious activity and unauthorized access within the supply chain, and conduct regular security audits and assessments to identify and address security vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Additionally, they educate suppliers and partners about cybersecurity best practices and collaborate with them to strengthen security measures across the supply chain. Social engineering attacks exploit human psychology and trust to manipulate individuals into disclosing sensitive information or performing actions that compromise security. Common techniques used in social engineering attacks include phishing, pretexting, baiting, and tailgating. Cybersecurity professionals prevent social engineering attacks by providing security awareness training to employees, implementing email and web filtering solutions to detect and block malicious content, and establishing policies and procedures to verify the identity of individuals requesting sensitive information or access. Cybersecurity professionals secure remote work environments by implementing secure remote access solutions, such as virtual private networks and multi-factor authentication, encrypting data transmitted between remote devices and corporate networks, and enforcing security policies and controls to mitigate the risk of unauthorized access and data breaches. They also provide training and awareness programs to remote employees on cybersecurity best practices and procedures for securely accessing corporate resources from remote locations. Security information and event management systems play a crucial role in cybersecurity by providing real-time visibility into security events and incidents across the organization's IT infrastructure. They collect, correlate, and analyze security event data from various sources such as network devices, servers and applications, and generate alerts and reports on potential security threats and anomalies. Cybersecurity professionals use security information and event management systems to monitor for suspicious activity, detect security incidents, and respond effectively to security threats. Cybersecurity professionals secure industrial control systems and supervisory control and data acquisition systems by implementing security controls and measures to protect against cyber threats and attacks. They use network segmentation, access controls, and intrusion detection systems to isolate and protect critical infrastructure assets from unauthorized access and tampering. They also conduct security assessments and audits to identify and address security vulnerabilities in intrusion detection systems and security assessments and audit systems, and collaborate with industry partners to share threat intelligence and best practices for securing critical infrastructure. Network intrusion detection and prevention techniques are used by cybersecurity professionals to identify and respond to unauthorized access and malicious activity within computer networks. Common techniques include signature-based detection, anomaly detection, and behavior-based detection. Signature-based detection uses predefined patterns or signatures to identify known threats, while anomaly detection identifies deviations from normal network behavior that may indicate a security breach. Behavior-based detection analyzes patterns of activity to detect and respond to suspicious behavior in real time. Cybersecurity professionals secure data stored in cloud storage services by implementing encryption, access controls, and data loss prevention measures to protect sensitive information from unauthorized access and data breaches. They also conduct security assessments and audits to assess the security posture of cloud storage providers and ensure compliance with security standards and regulations. Additionally, they use cloud security tools and technologies to monitor for security threats and anomalies and respond effectively to security incidents. The impact of quantum computing on cybersecurity is significant, as quantum computers have the potential to break many of the cryptographic algorithms and protocols currently used to secure digital information. Cybersecurity professionals are researching and developing quantum-resistant encryption algorithms and cryptographic protocols to protect against the threat of quantum attacks. They are also exploring new approaches to cybersecurity, such as quantum key distribution and post-quantum cryptography, to secure communications and data in the era of quantum computing. Cybersecurity professionals protect against advanced persistent threats by implementing comprehensive security measures and defenses to detect, prevent, and respond to sophisticated cyber attacks. They use threat intelligence, behavioral analytics, and machine learning algorithms to identify and mitigate advanced persistent threats in real time. They also conduct security assessments and audits to assess the organization's security posture and identify weaknesses that could be exploited by advanced persistent threats. Additionally, they establish incident response plans and procedures to quickly respond to and contain advanced persistent threats to minimize their impact on organizational assets and operations. Cybersecurity plays a critical role in protecting against nation-state cyber attacks by implementing robust defense mechanisms and strategies to safeguard national infrastructure, government assets, and sensitive information. Cybersecurity professionals work to detect, prevent, and respond to cyber threats posed by nation-states through threat intelligence gathering, vulnerability assessments, and incident response planning. They collaborate with government agencies, law enforcement, and international partners to share threat intelligence and coordinate response efforts to cyber attacks originating from nation-state actors. Securing software supply chains is essential for cybersecurity professionals to prevent supply chain attacks and ensure the integrity and security of software applications and systems. They implement security controls and measures such as code signing, software validation, and dependency management to mitigate the risk of malicious code injection, tampering, or exploitation in software supply chains. They also conduct risk assessments and audits to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses in software supply chains and collaborate with vendors and partners to address security issues and enhance supply chain security. Securing legacy systems and applications presents unique challenges for cybersecurity professionals due to outdated technology, unsupported software, and legacy infrastructure. They employ strategies such as system hardening, patch management, and network segmentation to mitigate security risks associated with legacy systems. They also implement compensating controls and monitoring mechanisms to detect and respond to security threats and vulnerabilities in legacy environments. Detecting and responding to ransomware attacks is a critical task for cybersecurity professionals to minimize the impact of ransomware infections on organizations' operations and data. They use endpoint detection and response solutions, intrusion detection systems, and security information and event management tools to detect ransomware activity and respond promptly to contain and mitigate the spread of ransomware infections. They also implement data backup and recovery strategies to restore encrypted data and systems in the event of a ransomware attack. Security awareness training plays a vital role in preventing phishing attacks by educating users about the risks and consequences of phishing and providing guidance on how to recognize and avoid phishing attempts. Cybersecurity professionals conduct phishing simulations, interactive training sessions, and awareness campaigns to raise awareness among employees about common phishing techniques and red flags. They also provide tips and best practices for securely handling email, verifying the authenticity of emails, and reporting suspicious activity to the IT department. Securing data transmitted over public Wi-Fi networks is crucial for protecting sensitive information from interception and eavesdropping by cyber attackers. Cybersecurity professionals use encryption protocols such as Wi-Fi protected access and virtual private networks to encrypt data transmitted over public Wi-Fi networks and protect it from unauthorized access. They also educate users about the risks of using public Wi-Fi networks and provide guidance on how to securely connect to Wi-Fi networks and protect their data. Endpoint detection and response solutions are used by cybersecurity professionals to monitor, detect, and respond to security threats and suspicious activity on endpoints such as desktops, laptops, and mobile devices. Common techniques used in endpoint detection and response include behavior monitoring, file integrity monitoring, and memory forensics. Endpoint detection and response solutions provide real-time visibility into endpoint activity, enable rapid incident response, and facilitate threat hunting and investigation to identify and mitigate security threats. Ensuring the security of data stored on removable media, such as USB drives and external hard drives, is essential for protecting sensitive information from loss, theft, or unauthorized access. Cybersecurity professionals use encryption, access controls, and data loss prevention measures to protect data stored on removable media from unauthorized access and data breaches. They also implement policies and procedures for securely handling and disposing of removable media to prevent data leakage and comply with security regulations. The Internet of Things poses significant cybersecurity challenges for smart homes and cities due to the proliferation of connected devices and the potential for cyber attacks targeting Internet of Things ecosystems. Cybersecurity professionals implement security controls and measures such as device authentication, encryption, and secure communication protocols to protect Internet of Things devices and networks from cyber threats. They also conduct vulnerability assessments and penetration testing to identify and address security vulnerabilities in Internet of Things deployments and collaborate with manufacturers to improve the security of Internet of Things devices. Protecting against man-in-the-middle attacks is essential for cybersecurity professionals to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of communication channels and data transmitted over networks. They use encryption protocols such as transport layer security and secure sockets layer to encrypt data transmitted between clients and servers and prevent interception and tampering by man-in-the-middle attackers. They also implement certificate-based authentication and network segmentation to protect against man-in-the-middle attacks and verify the identity of communicating parties. Encryption plays a crucial role in securing data at rest and in transit by converting plain text data into ciphertext using cryptographic algorithms and keys. Cybersecurity professionals use encryption to protect sensitive information stored on devices and servers, as well as data transmitted over networks and communication channels. They implement encryption protocols such as advanced encryption standard to encrypt data and ensure its confidentiality and integrity, and use key management practices to securely store and manage encryption keys. Cybersecurity professionals ensure the security of data backups and recovery processes by implementing backup encryption, access controls, and data integrity checks to protect backup data from unauthorized access, tampering, or corruption. They also conduct regular backup testing and validation to ensure the reliability and integrity of backup data, and implement disaster recovery plans and procedures to restore data and systems in the event of a data loss or security breach. Additionally, they use backup encryption and secure storage solutions to protect backup data from ransomware attacks and other cyber threats. Web application security testing is essential for cybersecurity professionals to identify and mitigate security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in web applications that could be exploited by attackers to compromise sensitive data or gain unauthorized access. They use techniques such as vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, and code review to assess the security posture of web applications and identify common security issues such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and insecure authentication mechanisms. They also provide recommendations and remediation guidance to developers to address security vulnerabilities and improve the security of web applications. Securing email communication against phishing and malware is critical for cybersecurity professionals to prevent data breaches, financial losses, and reputational damage resulting from email-based cyber attacks. They use email security solutions such as spam filters, antivirus software, and email encryption to detect and block malicious emails, prevent malware infections, and protect sensitive information transmitted via email. They also conduct phishing simulations and user awareness training to educate employees about the risks of phishing and provide guidance on how to recognize and report suspicious emails. Security automation and orchestration play a crucial role in cybersecurity operations by automating repetitive tasks, streamlining incident response processes, and orchestrating the flow of security alerts and events across disparate security tools and systems. Cybersecurity professionals use security automation and orchestration platforms to automate threat detection and response, accelerate incident investigation and resolution, and improve overall security efficiency and effectiveness. They also integrate security tools and technologies to enable seamless information sharing and collaboration between security teams and enhance the organization's cyber defense capabilities. Cybersecurity professionals ensure compliance with privacy regulations, such as General Data Protection Regulation and California Consumer Privacy Act, by implementing measures to protect the privacy and security of personal data. They conduct privacy impact assessments, data mapping and classification exercises to identify and categorize sensitive data, and implement data protection measures such as encryption, access controls, and data anonymization to safeguard personal information. They also develop and enforce privacy policies and procedures, provide privacy training and awareness programs for employees, and establish mechanisms for data subject rights management and incident response to ensure compliance with privacy regulations. Container security for cloud-native applications involves implementing measures to protect containerized environments and the applications running within them from security threats and vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as image scanning, vulnerability management, and runtime security monitoring to identify and mitigate security risks in containerized environments. They also implement access controls, network segmentation, and container isolation to prevent unauthorized access and lateral movement within container clusters. Additionally, they monitor and audit container activities, enforce compliance with security policies, and integrate security controls into the continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline to ensure secure container deployment and orchestration. Securing data transmitted over virtual private networks involves encrypting data traffic, authenticating users, and ensuring the integrity and confidentiality of VPN connections. Cybersecurity professionals use encryption protocols, such as Internet Protocol Security and Secure Sockets Layer, Transport Layer Security to encrypt VPN traffic and protect it from interception and eavesdropping. They also implement user authentication mechanisms such as username password authentication, two-factor authentication, and certificate-based authentication to verify the identity of VPN users and prevent unauthorized access. Additionally, they deploy VPN gateways, firewalls, and intrusion detection systems to monitor and control VPN traffic and enforce security policies. Threat hunting plays a crucial role in proactive cybersecurity defense strategies by proactively identifying and mitigating security threats and vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by cyber attackers. Cybersecurity professionals use threat intelligence, behavioral analytics, and machine learning algorithms to analyze and correlate security data and identify indicators of compromise and advanced persistent threats in network and endpoint environments. They also conduct threat hunting exercises, penetration testing, and red teaming engagements to simulate cyber attacks and identify gaps in security controls and defenses. Additionally, They collaborate with internal teams and external partners to share threat intelligence and best practices and enhance the organization's cyber defense capabilities. Securing internet-facing services and applications involves implementing measures to protect against common security threats such as web application attacks, SQL injection, and cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as web application firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, and web vulnerability scanning tools to monitor and protect internet-facing assets from cyber attacks. They also conduct regular security assessments and penetration tests to identify and remediate security weaknesses and misconfigurations in web applications and services. Additionally, they implement secure coding practices, patch management and security controls to mitigate security risks and ensure the resilience and availability of internet-facing services and applications. Security information sharing and collaboration involve exchanging threat intelligence, security alerts, and best practices among cybersecurity professionals, industry partners, and government agencies to enhance situational awareness and improve cyber defense capabilities. Cybersecurity professionals use information sharing platforms, threat intelligence feeds, and industry forums to share security insights, indicators of compromise, and actionable intelligence about emerging threats and vulnerabilities. They also participate in information sharing and analysis centres and community-driven initiatives to collaborate with peers and share knowledge and expertise on cyber threats and defensive strategies. Additionally, they contribute to open source projects and standards development efforts to promote information sharing and collaboration across the cybersecurity community. Protecting against advanced malware attacks using fileless techniques involves implementing measures to detect and mitigate malware threats that operate without leaving traditional file-based traces on compromised systems. Cybersecurity professionals use behaviour-based detection techniques, endpoint detection and response solutions, and memory forensics tools to identify and respond to fileless malware infections. They also implement application whitelisting, privilege management, and system hardening measures to reduce the attack surface and prevent fileless malware from executing malicious code or exploiting system vulnerabilities. Additionally, they conduct threat hunting and security analytics to identify and mitigate advanced malware threats before they can cause significant damage to organisation systems and data. The impact of social media on cybersecurity risks for individuals and organisations is significant due to the proliferation of social media platforms and the potential for cyber attacks targeting social media users and organisations' social media accounts. Cybersecurity professionals educate users about the risks of social media, such as phishing scams, malware distribution, and identity theft, and provide guidance on how to recognise and avoid social engineering attacks. They also implement security controls and privacy settings on social media platforms, such as two-factor authentication, privacy filters, and content filtering to protect users' personal information and prevent unauthorised access to social media accounts. Additionally, they monitor social media activity for signs of malicious activity and respond promptly to security incidents and breaches involving social media platforms. Vulnerability management and remediation involve identifying, prioritizing, and mitigating security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in systems, applications, and networks to reduce the risk of cyber attacks and data breaches. Cybersecurity professionals use vulnerability scanning tools, penetration testing, and security assessments to identify and assess vulnerabilities in IT environments. They prioritize vulnerabilities based on their severity, exploitability, and potential impact on business operations, and develop remediation plans and mitigation strategies to address high-risk vulnerabilities and reduce the organization's exposure to cyber threats. Additionally, they collaborate with internal teams and external partners to implement security patches configuration changes, and security controls to remediate vulnerabilities and improve the overall security posture of the organization. Cybersecurity plays a crucial role in protecting against distributed denial of service attacks by implementing measures to detect, mitigate, and prevent attacks targeting critical infrastructure, networks, and services. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network traffic analysis, anomaly detection, and rate limiting to identify and mitigate distributed denial of service attacks in real time. They also deploy distributed denial of service mitigation solutions, such as scrubbing centers, traffic scrubbers, and content delivery networks to filter and block malicious traffic and ensure the availability and performance of internet-facing services and applications during distributed denial of service attacks. Additionally, they collaborate with internet service providers, cloud service providers, and industry partners to share threat intelligence and coordinate distributed denial of service response efforts to minimize the impact of distributed denial of service attacks on organizations' operations and infrastructure. Securing data stored in databases and data warehouses involves implementing measures to protect against unauthorized access, data breaches, and data loss. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as access controls, encryption, and data masking to protect sensitive data stored in databases and data warehouses from insider threats and external attackers. They also implement database activity monitoring solutions, audit logging, and database encryption to monitor and audit database activities, detect anomalous behavior, and ensure compliance with data protection regulations. Additionally, they conduct regular security assessments, vulnerability scans, and database penetration tests to identify and remediate security weaknesses and misconfigurations in database environments and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of stored data. Network traffic analysis for detecting anomalies involves monitoring and analyzing network traffic patterns, behaviors, and communications to identify indicators of compromise and security threats in real time. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as packet capture, flow analysis, and machine learning algorithms to analyze network traffic and detect suspicious activities, unusual behavior, and potential security incidents. They also deploy network intrusion detection systems, network security monitoring solutions, and security information and event management systems to correlate and analyze network traffic data from multiple sources and detect signs of cyber attacks, data exfiltration, and unauthorized access. Additionally, they conduct threat hunting exercises and incident response drills to validate security alerts and investigate potential security breaches in network environments. Securing software-defined networking environments involves implementing measures to protect software-defined networking infrastructure, controllers, and virtualized network functions from security threats and vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network segmentation, access controls, and microsegmentation to isolate and secure software-defined networking components and prevent lateral movement within software-defined networking environments. They also implement encryption, authentication, and integrity checks to secure communication between software-defined networking controllers and network devices and ensure the confidentiality and integrity of control plane traffic. Additionally, they monitor and audit software-defined networking activities, enforce security policies, and conduct regular security assessments and penetration tests to identify and remediate security risks and vulnerabilities in software-defined networking deployments. Security analytics and threat intelligence platforms play a critical role in cybersecurity by providing organizations with insights into security threats, vulnerabilities, and incidents, and enabling them to detect, investigate, and respond to cyber attacks more effectively. Cybersecurity professionals use security analytics platforms, threat intelligence feeds, and machine learning algorithms to analyze and correlate security data from multiple sources and identify patterns, trends, and anomalies indicative of security threats and malicious activities. They also leverage threat intelligence feeds, open source intelligence, and industry reports to stay informed about emerging threats and cyber attack techniques, and incorporate threat intelligence into their security operations to enhance threat detection and response capabilities. Additionally, they use security analytics platforms to automate security incident triage, orchestrate incident response workflows, and optimize security operations for faster and more efficient incident resolution. Securing data transmitted over Bluetooth and other wireless protocols involves implementing measures to protect data privacy, integrity, and confidentiality during wireless communication. Cybersecurity professionals use encryption protocols such as Bluetooth Secure, Simple Pairing, and Secure connections to encrypt data exchanged between Bluetooth devices and prevent eavesdropping and interception of sensitive information. They also implement authentication mechanisms such as pairing codes and device authentication to verify the identity of Bluetooth devices and prevent unauthorized access to wireless networks and services. Additionally, they deploy intrusion detection and prevention systems and wireless intrusion detection systems to monitor and detect malicious activity and rogue devices in Bluetooth and other wireless networks and respond promptly to security incidents and breaches. Securing application and programming interfaces involves implementing measures to protect against common security threats such as injection attacks, broken authentication, and excessive data exposure. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as API authentication and authorization, input validation, and output encoding to prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of API endpoints. They also implement rate-limiting encryption and secure communication protocols such as HTTPS to protect data transmitted between API clients and servers. Additionally, they monitor and audit, enforce security policies, and conduct regular security assessments and penetration tests to identify and remediate security vulnerabilities in API implementations. To protect against insider threats from privileged users, cybersecurity professionals implement access controls, monitoring and auditing mechanisms to restrict and monitor the activities of privileged users and prevent abuse of their privileges. They use techniques such as role-based access control, least privilege principle, and segregation of duties to limit the access rights and permissions of privileged users based on their roles and responsibilities. They also deploy user behavior analytics, anomaly detection, and activity logging solutions to monitor and analyze privileged user activities and identify suspicious behavior and security incidents in real time. Additionally, they enforce strong authentication and authorization policies, conduct regular security training and awareness programs for privileged users, and implement incident response procedures to respond promptly to insider threats and security breaches. Blockchain technology has a significant impact on cybersecurity for cryptocurrencies and distributed ledgers by providing a decentralized and tamper-resistant platform for securely storing, transmitting, and verifying digital transactions and records. Cybersecurity professionals use blockchain technology to implement cryptographic techniques such as digital signatures, hash functions, and consensus algorithms to ensure the integrity, authenticity, and immutability of transaction data stored on the blockchain. They also leverage blockchain-based smart contracts and decentralized applications to automate and enforce security policies, access controls, and governance rules for cryptocurrency transactions and distributed ledger systems. Additionally, they conduct security assessments and penetration tests to identify and mitigate security vulnerabilities in blockchain implementations and address emerging threats and attack vectors targeting blockchain networks and applications. Conducting security assessments for Internet of Things devices involves evaluating the security posture and resilience of Internet of Things devices, networks, and ecosystems against common security threats such as unauthorized access, data breaches, and denial of service attacks. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as vulnerability scanning, penetration testing and firmware analysis to identify and assess security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in Internet of Things device firmware, software, and configurations. They also conduct network security assessments, wireless penetration tests, and protocol analysis to identify and mitigate security risks and exposures in Internet of Things device communications and interfaces. Additionally, they assess Internet of Things device security controls, encryption mechanisms, and authentication mechanisms to ensure compliance with security best practices and industry standards for Internet of Things security. To protect against data breaches caused by misconfigured cloud services, cybersecurity professionals implement measures to secure cloud environments, configurations, and access controls and prevent unauthorized access and exposure of sensitive data. They use techniques such as cloud security assessments, configuration audits, and vulnerability scanning to identify and remediate security misconfigurations and weaknesses in cloud services and infrastructure. They also enforce security policies and compliance standards such as Centre for Internet Security Benchmarks, National Institute of Standards and Technology Guidelines, and General Data Protection Regulation requirements to ensure that cloud deployments adhere to security best practices and industry standards. Additionally, they deploy cloud security controls such as encryption, access controls, and logging and monitoring solutions to protect against data breaches and unauthorized access to cloud-based assets and resources. Securing virtualization and hypervisor environments involves implementing measures to protect virtualized infrastructure, guest operating systems, and virtual machines from security threats and vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as hypervisor hardening, virtual machine isolation, and network segmentation to reduce the attack surface and prevent lateral movement within virtualized environments. They also deploy virtualization-aware security solutions such as virtual firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, and endpoint security agents to monitor and protect virtualized assets and workloads from cyber attacks. Additionally, they conduct regular security assessments, patch management, and vulnerability scanning to identify and remediate security weaknesses and misconfigurations in virtualization and hypervisor environments and ensure the integrity and availability of virtualized infrastructure. Conducting security assessments for internet-connected medical devices involves evaluating the security posture and resilience of medical devices, healthcare networks, and patient data against common security threats such as unauthorized access, data breaches, and patient safety risks. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, and risk assessments to identify and assess security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in medical device firmware, software, and configurations. They also conduct network security assessments, medical device interoperability testing, and data flow analysis to identify and mitigate security risks and exposures in medical device communications and interfaces. Additionally, they assess medical device security controls, encryption mechanisms, and authentication mechanisms to ensure compliance with security best practices and industry standards for medical device security and patient privacy. The impact of artificial intelligence on cybersecurity for autonomous vehicles and drones is significant due to the increasing reliance on artificial intelligence-driven technologies for navigation, control, and decision-making in autonomous systems. Cybersecurity professionals use artificial intelligence-based techniques such as machine learning, anomaly detection, and behavior analysis to detect and mitigate security threats and vulnerabilities in autonomous vehicles and drones. They leverage artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze sensor data, detect anomalous behavior, and identify potential security incidents and cyber attacks targeting autonomous systems. Additionally, they use artificial intelligence-powered security solutions, such as intrusion detection systems, threat intelligence platforms, and security orchestration, automation, and response tools to automate threat detection and response processes and improve the resilience and security of autonomous vehicles and drones against cyber threats. To secure data transmitted over near-field communication and radio frequency identification, cybersecurity professionals implement measures to protect against eavesdropping, interception, and unauthorized access to wireless communications. They use techniques such as encryption, authentication, and access controls to secure near-field communication and radio frequency identification transactions and prevent data leakage and tampering. They also deploy near-field communication and radio frequency identification security protocols and near-field communication forum specifications to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of data transmitted over near-field communication and radio frequency identification channels. Additionally, they conduct security assessments, penetration tests, and vulnerability scans to identify and remediate security weaknesses and vulnerabilities in near-field communication and radio frequency identification, implementations, and ensure compliance with security standards and regulations for wireless communication technologies. Securing data transmitted over satellite communication networks involves implementing measures to protect against interception, jamming, and cyber attacks targeting satellite links and ground stations. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as encryption, frequency hopping, and spread spectrum modulation to secure satellite communications and prevent unauthorized access and tampering of transmitted data. They also deploy satellite security protocols such as Advanced Encryption Standard, Secure Sockets Layer, and Transport Layer Security to encrypt data transmitted over satellite links and ensure the confidentiality and integrity of communications. Additionally, they monitor and audit satellite communication channels, implement access controls and authentication mechanisms, and conduct regular security assessments and penetration tests to identify and mitigate security risks and vulnerabilities in satellite communication networks. Protecting against insider threats from disgruntled employees involves implementing measures to prevent, detect, and respond to malicious activities and security breaches perpetrated by employees with privileged access to sensitive data and systems. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as user activity monitoring, behavior analytics, and anomaly detection to identify and investigate suspicious behavior and insider threats in real time. They also enforce least privilege principle, access controls, and segregation of duties to limit the access rights and permissions of employees based on their roles and responsibilities and prevent abuse of privileges. Additionally, they conduct regular security training and awareness programs, establish incident response procedures, and implement data loss prevention and endpoint security solutions to protect against insider threats and mitigate the impact of security incidents and data breaches caused by disgruntled employees. The role of cybersecurity in securing data transmitted over 5G and other mobile networks is crucial due to the increasing reliance on mobile technologies for communication, commerce, and connectivity. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as encryption, authentication, and access controls to secure data transmitted over 5G and mobile networks and prevent unauthorized access and interception of sensitive information. They also deploy mobile security solutions such as mobile device management, mobile application management, and mobile threat defense to protect against mobile malware, phishing attacks, and other mobile security threats. Additionally, they monitor and analyze mobile network traffic, enforce security policies, and conduct regular security assessments and penetration tests to identify and mitigate security risks and vulnerabilities in mobile deployments and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data transmitted over mobile networks. Securing data transmitted over mesh networks and peer-to-peer connections involves implementing measures to protect against interception, tampering, and unauthorized access to wireless communications between interconnected devices and endpoints. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as encryption, decentralized authentication, and blockchain-based consensus mechanisms to secure mesh networks and peer-to-peer carrier connections and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of transmitted data. They also deploy mesh network security protocols such as thread to encrypt data, authenticate devices, and establish secure communication channels between mesh nodes and devices. Additionally, they conduct security assessments, penetration tests, and vulnerability scans to identify and remediate security weaknesses and vulnerabilities in mesh network implementations and ensure compliance with security standards and regulations for wireless communication technologies. Securing data transmitted over quantum communication networks involves implementing measures to protect against quantum eavesdropping, quantum hacking, and other quantum-based cyber attacks targeting quantum communication protocols and quantum key distribution systems. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as quantum encryption, quantum key distribution, and quantum-resistant cryptography to secure data transmitted over quantum communication networks and ensure the confidentiality and integrity of communications. They also deploy quantum communication security protocols to generate and distribute quantum keys, securely and establish provably secure communication channels between quantum nodes and endpoints. Additionally, they conduct security assessments, quantum-safe cryptography evaluations, and post-quantum security testing to identify and mitigate security risks and vulnerabilities in quantum communication implementations and ensure the resilience and security of quantum communication networks against quantum cyber threats. To protect against data breaches caused by third-party service providers, cybersecurity professionals implement risk management strategies and security controls to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of sensitive data entrusted to external vendors and partners. They conduct due diligence assessments, vendor security evaluations, and contract reviews to evaluate the security posture and compliance practices of third-party service providers and assess their ability to safeguard data and mitigate security risks. They also establish security requirements, contractual obligations, and service-level agreements with third-party vendors to enforce security standards, data protection measures, and incident response procedures. Additionally, they implement security monitoring, auditing, and oversight mechanisms to detect and respond to security incidents and breaches involving third-party service providers and hold them accountable for maintaining the security and privacy of shared data and resources. The impact of augmented reality and virtual reality on cybersecurity for immersive technologies is significant due to the increasing adoption of augmented reality and virtual reality applications and devices in various industries and sectors. Cybersecurity professionals address security challenges and risks associated with augmented reality and virtual reality technologies by implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, data breaches, and privacy violations. They secure augmented reality and virtual reality platforms, devices, and applications by leveraging techniques such as access controls, encryption, and authentication to prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of immersive content and user interactions. They also conduct security assessments, penetration tests, and vulnerability scans to identify and mitigate security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in augmented reality and virtual reality implementations and ensure the resilience and security of immersive technologies against cyber attacks and exploitation. Securing data transmitted over Internet of Vehicles networks involves implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, privacy breaches, and safety risks associated with connected vehicles and intelligent transportation systems. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and intrusion detection to secure Internet of Vehicles communications and prevent unauthorized access and tampering of vehicle data and control systems. They also deploy vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-infrastructure security protocols, authentication mechanisms, and access controls to ensure the integrity and authenticity of vehicle communications and prevent cyber attacks targeting Internet of Vehicles network. Additionally, they collaborate with automotive manufacturers, transportation authorities, and regulatory agencies to develop and enforce security standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing Internet of Vehicles deployments and mitigating the impact of cyber threats on road safety and transportation infrastructure. Securing data transmitted over smart grid and energy networks involves implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, data breaches, and operational disruptions affecting critical infrastructure and utility services. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and anomaly detection to secure smart grid communications and prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of energy data and control systems. They also deploy smart grid security protocols, access controls, and intrusion prevention systems to detect and respond to cyber attacks targeting energy infrastructure and ensure the resilience and reliability of smart grid operations. Additionally, they collaborate with energy utilities, grid operators, and regulatory agencies to develop and implement cybersecurity standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing smart grid deployments and safeguarding energy networks against cyber threats and vulnerabilities. To protect against data breaches caused by human error and negligence, cybersecurity professionals implement security awareness training programs, user education initiatives, and behavioral analytics to promote a culture of security awareness and compliance within organizations. They educate employees about common security threats, phishing scams, and social engineering tactics, and provide training on security best practices, password hygiene, and incident response procedures. They also conduct simulated phishing exercises, security awareness campaigns, and interactive training sessions to reinforce security awareness and help employees recognize and respond to security threats and incidents effectively. Additionally, they implement data loss prevention solutions, access controls, and user activity monitoring to prevent accidental data leaks, unauthorized access, and insider threats caused by human error and negligence. The role of cybersecurity in securing data transmitted over smart home and Internet of Things ecosystems is crucial due to the increasing adoption of connected devices and smart home technologies in residential environments. Cybersecurity professionals address security challenges and risks associated with smart home and Internet of Things deployments by implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, privacy breaches, and unauthorized access to Internet of Things devices and data. They secure smart home networks, devices, and applications by leveraging techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and access controls to prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of Internet of Things data and control systems. They also deploy Internet of Things security protocols, device authentication mechanisms, and firmware updates to ensure the integrity and security of smart home deployments and mitigate the risk of cyber attacks targeting Internet of Things ecosystems. Additionally, they collaborate with Internet of Things manufacturers, service providers, and regulatory agencies to develop and enforce security standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing smart home and Internet of Things deployments and protecting consumer privacy and safety. Securing data transmitted over industrial Internet and Industry 4.0 networks involves implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, data breaches, and operational disruptions affecting industrial control systems and critical infrastructure. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and intrusion detection to secure industrial internet communications and prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of industrial data and control systems. They also deploy industrial internet security protocols, access controls, and anomaly detection systems to detect and respond to cyber attacks targeting industrial networks and ensure the resilience and reliability of industrial operations. Additionally, they collaborate with industrial manufacturers, automation vendors, and regulatory agencies to develop and implement cybersecurity standards guidelines and best practices for securing industrial internet and Industry 4.0 deployments, and safeguarding industrial infrastructure against cyber threats and vulnerabilities. Securing data transmitted over satellite internet and space networks involves implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, satellite jamming, and space-based attacks targeting satellite communication systems and ground stations. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as encryption, frequency hopping, and spread spectrum modulation to secure satellite communications and prevent unauthorized access and interception of satellite data transmissions. They also deploy satellite internet security protocols, access controls, and monitoring systems to detect and respond to cyber attacks targeting satellite links and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of satellite communications. Additionally, they collaborate with satellite operators, space agencies, and regulatory bodies to develop and enforce security standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing satellite internet and space networks and mitigating the impact of cyber threats and space-based attacks on global communication infrastructure and satellite services. Protecting against data breaches caused by supply chain vulnerabilities and attacks involves implementing measures to assess, monitor, and manage security risks associated with third-party vendors, suppliers, and partners. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as vendor risk assessments, supply chain audits, and security evaluations to identify and mitigate security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in supply chain processes and dependencies. They also establish supply chain security policies, contractual obligations, and security controls to enforce security standards, data protection measures, and incident response procedures across the supply chain ecosystem. Additionally, they collaborate with supply chain stakeholders, industry associations, and regulatory agencies to develop and implement supply chain security frameworks, guidelines, and best practices for securing supply chain operations and protecting against supply chain attacks and data breaches. The impact of quantum cryptography on cybersecurity for secure communication and encryption is significant due to the potential of quantum technologies to revolutionize cryptographic algorithms and encryption methods. Cybersecurity professionals leverage quantum cryptography techniques such as quantum key distribution, quantum-resistant cryptography, and quantum random number generation to secure data transmissions and cryptographic protocols against quantum attacks and brute force decryption. They also explore post-quantum cryptography solutions, quantum-safe algorithms, and quantum-resistant encryption techniques to develop cryptographic primitives and protocols that are resilient to quantum computing threats and provide long-term security for digital communications and information exchange. Additionally, they collaborate with quantum researchers, academia, and industry partners to advance quantum cryptography research and development efforts and enhance the security and resilience of cryptographic systems and communication networks against emerging quantum cyber threats. Securing data transmitted over Internet of Medical Things. Networks involves implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, privacy breaches, and safety risks associated with connected medical devices and healthcare systems. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and access controls to secure Internet of Medical Things communications and prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of medical data and device controls. They also deploy medical device security protocols, authentication mechanisms, and firmware updates to ensure the integrity and security of Internet of Medical Things deployments and mitigate the risk of cyber attacks targeting healthcare infrastructure. Additionally, They collaborate with healthcare providers, medical device manufacturers, and regulatory agencies to develop and implement cybersecurity standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing Internet of Medical Things deployments and safeguarding patient privacy and safety. Securing data transmitted over quantum computing networks involves implementing measures to protect against quantum eavesdropping, quantum hacking, and other quantum-based cyber attacks targeting quantum communication protocols and quantum key distribution systems. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as quantum encryption, quantum key distribution, and quantum-resistant cryptography to secure data transmitted over quantum computing networks and ensure the confidentiality and integrity of communications. Additionally, they conduct security assessments, quantum-safe cryptography evaluations, and post-quantum security testing to identify and mitigate security risks and vulnerabilities in quantum communication implementations and ensure the resilience and security of quantum communication networks against quantum cyber threats. Protecting against data breaches caused by adversarial machine learning attacks involves implementing measures to detect, prevent, and mitigate the impact of malicious activities and manipulations targeting machine learning models and algorithms. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as adversarial robustness testing, model validation, and algorithmic transparency to identify and mitigate security vulnerabilities and weaknesses in machine learning systems and prevent adversarial attacks such as model poisoning, evasion, and data injection. They also deploy machine learning security solutions such as anomaly detection, behavior analytics, and adversarial training to detect and respond to adversarial machine learning attacks in real time and ensure the resilience and security of machine learning deployments against cyber threats and adversarial manipulations. The role of cybersecurity in securing data transmitted over smart city and urban infrastructure networks is crucial due to the increasing digitization and interconnectedness of urban systems and services. Cybersecurity professionals address security challenges and risks associated with smart city deployments by implementing measures to protect against cyber threats, data breaches, and operational disruptions affecting critical infrastructure and public services. They secure smart city networks, devices, and applications by leveraging techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and access controls to prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of urban data and control system. They also deploy smart city security protocols, threat detection systems, and incident response procedures to detect and respond to cyber attacks targeting smart city infrastructure and ensure the resilience and reliability of urban services. Additionally, they collaborate with city authorities, technology vendors, and community stakeholders to develop and implement cybersecurity standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing smart city deployments and protecting citizen privacy, safety, and well-being. Securing data transmitted over underwater and marine communication networks involves implementing measures to protect against environmental hazards, physical tampering, and cyber attacks targeting underwater communication systems and subsea infrastructure. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as encryption, acoustic authentication, and underwater sensor networks to secure data transmissions and communication links in underwater environments and prevent unauthorized access and tampering of underwater data channels. They also deploy underwater communication security protocols, access controls, and physical security measures to protect submarine cables, underwater sensors, and marine devices against physical and cyber threats. Additionally, they collaborate with oceanographers, marine engineers, and maritime organizations to develop and implement security standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing underwater and marine communication networks and mitigating the risks and vulnerabilities associated with underwater data transmission and subsea connectivity. Securing data transmitted over underwater And subsea communication networks involves implementing robust encryption and authentication mechanisms to protect data integrity and confidentiality in challenging underwater environments. Cybersecurity professionals utilize techniques such as acoustic encryption, secure underwater communication protocols, and physical security measures to safeguard data transmitted through submarine cables and underwater sensor networks. They also deploy encryption keys and digital signatures to ensure the authenticity and integrity of underwater data transmissions, preventing unauthorized access and tampering of sensitive information in subsea communication channels. Additionally, they conduct risk assessments and security audits to identify and mitigate vulnerabilities in underwater communication systems and subsea infrastructure, ensuring the resilience and security of data transmitted over underwater and subsea networks against cyber threats and environmental hazards. Securing data transmitted over quantum error correction and fault-tolerant networks involves implementing advanced cryptographic algorithms and quantum-resistant encryption techniques to protect against quantum attacks and data interception. Cybersecurity professionals leverage techniques such as quantum key distribution, post-quantum cryptography, and quantum-resistant encryption protocols to secure data transmissions and communication channels in quantum error correction and fault-tolerant networks. They also deploy quantum error correction codes and quantum error correction mechanisms to detect and correct errors in quantum communication systems, ensuring the reliability and integrity of quantum data transmissions. Additionally, they collaborate with quantum researchers and academia to develop and implement quantum-safe communication standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing data transmitted over quantum error correction and fault-tolerant networks, and mitigating the risks of quantum cyber threats and attacks. Protecting against data breaches caused by vulnerabilities in hardware security modules involves implementing measures to secure and harden hardware security modules against cyber attacks and tampering attempts. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as hardware security module firmware updates, secure boot mechanisms, and physical security controls to protect hardware security modules from exploitation and unauthorized access. They also deploy hardware security module security policies, access controls, and audit trails to monitor and control access to cryptographic keys and sensitive data stored in hardware security modules, ensuring the confidentiality and integrity of cryptographic operations and transactions. Additionally, they conduct penetration testing, security assessments, and vulnerability scans to identify and remediate vulnerabilities in HSMs and strengthen their resilience against cyber threats and attacks. The impact of quantum-resistant cryptography on cybersecurity for secure and post-quantum encryption is significant due to the potential of quantum technologies to render traditional cryptographic algorithms and encryption methods vulnerable to quantum attacks. Cybersecurity professionals leverage quantum-resistant cryptographic algorithms such as lattice-based cryptography, hash-based cryptography, and code-based cryptography to develop encryption schemes and cryptographic primitives that are resilient to quantum attacks and provide long-term security for digital communications and data protection. They also explore hybrid encryption approaches, quantum-safe key exchange protocols, and quantum-resistant signature schemes to enhance the security and resilience of cryptographic systems and communication networks against emerging quantum cyber threats. Additionally, they collaborate with academia, industry partners, and standardization bodies to advance research and development efforts in quantum-resistant cryptography and ensure the readiness and adoption of quantum-safe communication solutions in cybersecurity practices and technologies. Securing data. Transmitted over Internet of Military Things networks involves implementing stringent security measures and defense mechanisms to protect sensitive military data and communications from cyber threats and adversaries. Cybersecurity professionals utilize techniques such as network segmentation, encryption, and access controls to secure Internet of Military Things networks and prevent unauthorized access and manipulation of military data and devices. They also deploy military-grade encryption algorithms, authentication protocols, and intrusion detection systems to detect and respond to cyber attacks targeting military and Internet of Things deployments and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of military communications and operations. Additionally, they collaborate with defense agencies, military contractors, and technology vendors to develop and implement cybersecurity standards, guidelines, and best practices for securing Internet of Military Things networks and safeguarding military assets and personnel against cyber threats and attacks. Securing data transmitted over quantum repeater and entanglement-based networks involves implementing quantum communication protocols and quantum cryptography techniques to protect against quantum attacks and eavesdropping attempts. Cybersecurity professionals leverage techniques such as quantum entanglement distribution, quantum key distribution, and quantum teleportation to establish secure communication channels and transmit cryptographic keys securely over quantum repeater and entanglement-based networks. They also deploy quantum repeater stations, quantum network nodes, and quantum communication relays to extend the range and coverage of quantum communication networks and enable secure data transmission over long distances. Additionally, they collaborate with quantum researchers, network engineers, and telecommunications providers to develop and deploy quantum repeater and entanglement-based networks and ensure the security and reliability of quantum communication infrastructures against quantum cyber threats and attacks. Protecting against data breaches caused by weaknesses in cryptographic key management involves implementing robust key management practices and security controls to safeguard cryptographic keys and prevent unauthorized access and misuse. Cybersecurity professionals use techniques such as key rotation, key vaulting, and key escrow to manage and protect cryptographic keys throughout their life cycle, from generation and distribution to storage and disposal. They also deploy key encryption, key wrapping, and key splitting techniques to protect sensitive cryptographic keys from exposure and compromise. Additionally, they establish key management policies, procedures, and controls to enforce security standards, data protection measures, and compliance requirements for cryptographic key management and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of cryptographic keys and data assets. As we conclude today's exploration of cybersecurity, we hope you've gained valuable insights and practical tips to enhance your digital security posture. Don't forget to subscribe to Loops and Loops for more in-depth content on cybersecurity, privacy, and digital resilience. Until next time, keep those loops tight, stay secure, and keep exploring the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity. Thank you for joining us on this vital journey.